morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. For those of you who will be watching this on YouTube and on Share Vision, I hope you like what we do, and I hope you share it with more people so that they can look at this. If they've never seen how wave analysis work, they will have a very good insight into it. You can watch more of my videos on YouTube so that you have a very good insight into what wave analysis is doing. I can tell you that people who do see it are very amazed by it, because I was contacted by a company that is actually offering people live accounts to trade on. I will not give the name of the company as yet because I'm still in negotiation with them to find out whether they are really solid and whether they, they're not trying to scam anybody. And if that is clear and everything is good, I would let you guys know about it. There is a fee to pay, and that is the part where I'm a little worried, because I've known these companies doing these things before, where they tell you pay a fee and then they create conditions for you to fail. These people are saying they don't have that. The only condition they have is that you would have to don't lose more than $700 in the account they give you, right? It's a $14,000 account. Let my group, I have an amazing group of traders. We'll let them work into that. Let them do all the research on that. And if it is okay, I would open it to everybody and say, hey, this might be an opportunity for you. If not, we'll just don't mention it again, right? So let's go. Here's the thing. If you're in my group and you're using the strategy we're using, and you're using the money management we're using, and you're using the trade management we're using, you can set a plan to never hit that target, to never lose $700. There's no time limit to it. And if there's no time limit, then you can trade very small until you start, and grow the account slowly. And when you reach a certain amount, they will pay you off. They'll pay you money. They'll give you 70% of what you make. My honest opinion is that they're hoping you fail and they just get your money. But if you're in my group, there's a chance you're going to win. You're not going to fail, right? So let's go. The plan this year is to make almost every trader who follows us in the daily webinars and follow us in the trading room to be successful. That's the plan this year. Every trader, we're going to try to monitor, set up some way to monitor every trader in the trading room to make sure they're not falling back. So if somebody starts to fall back, what we're going to do is we're going to bring them in, attach them to successful traders, and make sure they get back their account into profit. And we will start to do that from this month. So as soon as we finish these webinars I'm doing, that's the first thing I'm going to get into trading, create a group of successful traders and a group of traders who are struggling. And as long as you're joining the trading room often, we'll make sure you never fail. That's the point, right? That's the whole point of our trading room. Last year, it was amazing. It's still working amazing. And we hope to make it better this year. Anyways, let's go. So I've done 2 webinars already. If you're seeing this webinar first, go watch the other 2 webinars for this year, the first 2 webinars for this year. They're long-term as well as short-term. This webinar will be on all the euro pairs, very short, only the euro pairs, maybe the pound pairs if we have time. So what I'm going to do is look long-term and short-term. So the long-term on the euro dollar, which I did already, is that we're in some kind of a flat here. And it looks like we're in a contracting flat because we didn't break the top. My last year forecast was that we would go break the top and then come down. I would always make a forecast like that if I see 1 and then 2. Is that we will always forecast breaking of the top as long as we haven't broken the low, because that is the most common pattern that we know, which is the regular flat. The second most common pattern is a running flat. That is, if you break the low, then you go back up, do this, and then drop. So this what we were expecting it to break, but we end up with the most uncommon one, which is the contracting flat. Okay, now that they've proved that it is a contracting flat, we're coming down. We still have to see whether we'll get this sharp one somewhere in the future. And you probably will get it very bad, way down in the future. You can see where this one repeats itself here. So maybe we will get a drop here, and then we will get the sharp one, and then we'll start to go down. We're expecting to break this low, right? That is, if this is the impulse coming down now, we're expecting it to break that low. So here's the thing. It's not a straight line. It's patterns created. So this pattern here should first drop. There's a chance it's going to go back up. And then there's a chance it's going to drop to break the low with a few corrections in it, of course. Now, that is the immediate forecast that we can make based on what we have now. Now, you would ask me, well, what if that doesn't happen? What are the chances of it doesn't do that? Well, if it doesn't do that, there's a chance that we get a more complex pattern in here. which is if this comes here and do this and come here and go back up without breaking this low, what we will have is 1, 2, 3 for the big flat in here. We're going to come down back like this, go back up there, and then drop. Now that will take about 5 years. So I don't think that is a likely pattern. I think that is an unlikely one because this one is very big. And I think the likelihood is we're going to break the low. But it doesn't matter. These are long-term forecasts. If it starts to change, we will see that on the daily and the 4-hour. We will change with it. We trade on the 1 hour. So we will see all those changes. This forecast is just so that you have a general idea. On the daily, we're in a sideways move, and we knew that. On the 4-hour, we literally broke this top, which is what we wanted it to do, but it's not what we wanted it to do. It's the way it is done. I was expecting this to go up in a sharp wave, break the top, and then drop. But because it did not go up in a sharp wave, because we literally do this going up, there's a high probability that this is a running flat. Come down here, make a running flat, go back up, come back down like this, go back up like that, then drop. Right? So all of this here is still in the correction. And I don't think it's complete because it doesn't matter how I look at it, I can't see the complete pattern. Right? Even if you assume that this was the one that was going to go up, it didn't go up as aggressive as this went up. It went up really slow. Now there's 1 in a million chance, probably a 1 in 100 chance that yes, this is a 3-wave structure that was very slow and now we are dropping. I would not bet on that because my experience from trading wave analysis tells me that the higher probability is that this would go here, then come down. And probably not drop through the bottom as yet, probably come back like this and go back up and then drop. Now that is experience, right? That is just my experience and looking at patterns, what it could be. This thing could change into 6 different patterns right now. So the most immediate thing, what I'm looking for is to see what this piece does. And this is a sell setup. But like I said, I have a problem with this. Now, if you're a wave analysis trader or you actually know anything of patterns, you immediately see what I'm saying, right? You see this and you see this and you're thinking, yeah, wait a second. Something is not right there. The probability of this going back up is here. So your question now, is that a trade you should take? What if it actually drops to the bottom? So that's where the what if comes in. And if you're in my group, that's where we deal with the what if, because we have strategies on how to deal with what if that doesn't do what we expect it to do. So put this here. This is a flat, and as long as this decides to break the low, that's a sell setup. The question is, how far would it go beyond this low before it goes back up? And the probability to the upside, I would say, is about 90% compared to 10% of this going up, based on the specific pattern we have right now. Right? So if I have to measure those patterns in terms of probability, the probability to make a new high is 10%, is about 90% compared to the downside. That doesn't mean that this one is not going to break this low. It means the chance of it to continue to go is only about 10%. So if your question is, should you take this trade or not? What I would say to my traders, do you have the experience to get out of this for break even if it doesn't do this? I think most of my traders can do that, right? We have enough rules in place to understand what it's doing and how you're going to get out of that for break even. Now, in this case, you can just ignore it and let it drop. Let it drop, let it make another correction under this, and then you start selling. Right? That's the safest trade. Let it drop and let it make another correction, then we sell. Don't sell this one. Because if this drops and go back very fast, you have to wait for a pullback to exit for break even. Right? So I would say don't sell this. Look at the other euro pairs and see if there's a euro pair with a sell setup, and let's sell that one that has a bigger trade to the downside. So I'm going to go to the euro pound. Euro pound is going down. Let's see if there's a big trade to the downside. No, there isn't. This was the last trade we took in last year on the euro pound. I think this was an easy one. I mean, it was a really, really easy one. The first trade we took on this one, some of you guys got it, was this one. The second trade was here. We closed that for break even, and then we put it here. That was the third trade, right? That one went. You probably would have closed it somewhere here. Re-enter, and there's a lot of re-entry in it. So let's look at it here now where we are. We're at the bottom in this structure. right? We're at the bottom of this thing in this structure. See the way that structure is going? Now, there is a chance that this was the running flat. Let's make an assumption that that is a running flat. And this is going to continue to drop, right? If that's a running flat, then this one is going to continue to drop, right? This here was a correction. However you look at this correction, I don't know how we would look at this as yet. We'll come back to that. Basically, this could continue to drop, which means this is going to continue to go here. Or there's a chance that it comes back to the top and then drop. What if this is all for the downside and this one is actually looking to go back up? Is there a big picture that tells us that that is possible? Right? I wouldn't say so, because I would say that this here, if we look at the way this developed, you had a 1, 2, 3, you had a 1, 2, 3. So this flat is completed here. You made a new high and you're coming down, right? So technically they don't really have to go anywhere. Did we break this up? Let's see if we broke that up. It's important to know whether or not you break the top. We didn't. So technically we're still in a big sideways move, right? If you look at it that way. And it means potentially we could come back all the way to this low. Could this still be part of the correction? I don't think it is. I think we're literally coming down now, right? But this piece is not coming down as aggressive as we would like it to come. So there is potential for this to go down. The only question is whether it's going to go back up before it comes down. So let's go back on the 1 hour and look at that. So on the 1 hour, what I would say is, if I'm going to sell this here, I need a flat, not a flag. Right? If I'm going to sell this anywhere in this area here, breaking that low and selling, I would need a flat. So we don't really have a flat here. That means we don't have a sell setup. We can ignore this for now. Let it drop, break through the structure, make a correction, then we start selling. If it is going to go back up to the top, we will buy it. I think you guys remember we tried to buy this a few times, and most of the time it was break even because it went up really slow with a lot of pullback, but we'll see. Let's go to the EUR-AUD. Yeah, EUR-AUD downside. Structurally, you can see that. Look at the daily. Structurally, we're going down, right? We made this flat. We went down. We made a bigger correction. We dropped. We're making a correction here. We're dropping. So I think this could continue to drop. What's the bigger picture in this? Yes, it's downside on the weekly. It's downside, right? You had this move down. You had this move up. Right? 1, 2, 3. You're getting this move down. This could, it's not going to go in a straight line, but the chances are it's going to come back here. But you know, what are the chances of this going back up and making a new high? That is also possible. We can make an argument for an entire bigger running flat like this and then upside and then come back here, right? Is this turning at this point? I don't see any sign that that is turning. Not as yet, right? It could be turning, but we don't see any sign in that. When you go in the daily, this is not the turn, that's for sure. So if we're going to turn, the chances are they will break this low before they turn. So it will probably come here, break this low, and then go back up. We will definitely have divergence there. So there's a good chance we're going to come break this low. If we're turning to the upside, break the low first, then turn. So let's go in the 4 hour and see. Yep, looks like, you know, they made a flat here. They kind of go there, pull back. You probably go with a contracting flat in there, drop there, you're coming back. I think we're making some kind of a big correction here, after which this should drop lower. Let's see in the 1 hour if we have a sell setup. Nope, we don't. We actually have a buy setup right now, but it's not ready and it's not valid. So if we're going to make a sell, I want this to drop some more, you know, make a flag here that we can sell something like this, and then we'll go for the sell. Right? If we get that set up, we'll go for the sell. Euro New Zealand, perfect. This is a good one. So let's go in the daily and the weekly. This one is the most interesting one you should look at in terms of structure, right? And this one is really amazing. So most of you might look at this line and say, well, that is almost impossible, especially if you're new, right? If you're seeing my video for the first time, and this is the first time you're seeing this video, you would look at that and said, well, nah, that's probably impossible. So I want to show you one here. So these are my ideas. And let's see, you'll have to go to not this chart. We'll have to look at the one with FXCM. The same one, the FXCM one, and then we should come here and FXCM and see if we find the ideas. Oh, no, these ones, sorry, these are my ideas. So you come to FXCM and you're looking for a chart that was banned, by the way. on trading view. Let's see if I can find that one. There is it, by the way. It should be a daily chart or a weekly chart. I think this was it. No, not that one. I'm trying to find a long-term chart that I had. And which one of them it is. I think it's this one. Let's see if it's this one. That's the 4 hour, right? Let's see if it's this one. I think it was this one. No, the one that goes to this one came down a little more and then it actually went up. If you do this, you will see it went up. It started to go up here, but there was one where we forecast from here the upside. This one actually went up to that target, but it went slow. You see it keep going up and it went very slow. And that is where we realized that this was not the impulsive move. This was the plan. We had this and we had this here, and we thought this was going to go break the top. But instead it made a very big correction in here, make that, and then come down back. So now we know that we have a flat in the middle. I'll find that chart somewhere that we had the forecast going up, right? So now we have a flat in the middle here. See, we have this flat in the middle here with a 1, 2, 3. And you have this and you have this. So the probability of this going up is really high to complete this flat. This is the trade we're looking for. So go on the daily. We actually had that forecast. I'll find it and show you guys. So go to the daily and you're looking at this now. And we're literally going sideways here. We have a sharp move up and we're going sideways. Is there a chance that we can retest the low and then go? Possible. There's always a chance that this could come retest the low and then go back up. But on this chart, we don't have anything so far showing us that that is the possibility, right? So we had this flat here. See this one? It kind of break the top, come down here. You can make an argument for a bigger one like this, if this goes up, or you can make an argument for this coming back to break the low and then go back up, right? So on the 4 hour, that is possible. On the daily, we'll see whether they come back or not. And on the 1 hour, we're here. So we can look at this many different ways. You can assume that this was all the flat, right? This was it. Or you can assume that this is a bigger expanding flat. So if we're going to look for a buy setup, or if we're going to look for a sell setup, we have to wait for it to see which one will come. So on the sell setup, I would say it's under here. That's a good sell under there. If you get a flag earlier, would be a better sell, but the sell under this, which is assuming that if this is this here is the flat and we're going to go down more, this is going to drop through the low. And if it drops through this low, it will also retrace that last one. So it will totally be downside, which means we'll retest the low and then go back up, right? And the bigger picture, we'll retest this low and still go back up. The upside is not, it's still going to happen. If this is the one that is going to go, any buy setup we get on the 1 hour we can take. Right now, we don't have any buy setup, see? All it's doing this. This one is making another flag. Let it come here, and if it comes back here, we have a buy setup. So we want this to go up a little. We want it to come back here, make a flat like that. And then we have a buy setup with an entry above that top. That would be the buy setup. And any buy setup we get, we'll take. Whether it's break even. I think we took a few here at the top here that turned out to be break even above this one here. Turned out to be a break-even trade because we closed it right in here. I think you could see that once it breaks the top, it went, it come back, and it started, you close it here. I think we closed that live in the trading room. It's a few pips positive, but we call it break-even. And we'll be looking for this to the upside. So we have a 1, 2, 3. Come back like this. Give me this one. And we're looking for that trade up. Even if it comes here and start to do this, we'll close it for break-even. If it takes off, we'll be in the trade, right? Let's go. Euro, New Zealand, Euro CAD. Euro CAD, big picture. Take this off. It never broke out. And this one is going sideways and it's going back down. So we're in a big flat here, right? We're literally in a big flat here. something like this, and then we'll get one more down, right? So if we're making a big flat here, I think it's incomplete. I think we're going to come here, go back up there, make this flat, and then probably drop, right? So let's look at that in the 4 hour. It's kind of coming down, but the next move should be to the upside. Right, the next move of this one should be to the upside because this wave up is sharp, this one down is sharp, this one is kind of like that. Let this come down, you're going to make something like this, come here, go back up, come back here, probably go back up and then drop. I can see this possible. This looks like the most corrected one right now. If I'm wrong, they're going to go there and then drop. So when we break the top, we sell. Every break of that top, we look for a sell setup, right? Can we buy this to the upside? Absolutely. We bought this one here. You see that there? We bought this. We didn't buy this because that was at the top there and we were expecting it to come down. So we will buy back to break the top. Once the top is broken, we're going to be out of the trade and we're looking for sell setups. So should we sell here? No. If we're going to sell this to the downside, it has to break this here. And then we start to look for our sell setups. Swiss, big picture, Euro Swiss daily. This thing has been going down quite a lot and we broke the low. On the bigger picture in the weekly, it's pretty unclear, right? If you look at it this way, it's really unclear as to where this is going, right? Because you can make an argument for all of this being a big correction here, right? Some kind of a running flat in the making, which means this goes up back there, then come down. That's one option. The second option is that, well, this is just a flat of its own. This was a sharp move up, I don't know, sharp move down. This is coming down to break the low, then probably go back up sharp and then come back down sharp. Right, so on the big picture, the pattern is unclear. We don't have enough pieces to make a complete pattern. So we will work with this one. We'll work with the lower picture, which is we're going a downtrend and we're going down. We'll work with 1, 2, 3. On the daily, assuming that that would continue to go now that we've broken the low, is that it will continue to go lower. Look at the 4 hour. We're kind of pulling back. So if they pull back deep, I would go with a correction only. Probably put it like that. I think that that is the one that finishes it. Maybe 1, 2, 3, something like that. This right now looks like, if we put it this way, this looks like a running flat here. So maybe we test this low and then any deeper correction is possible. So if we're going to go for a sell setup here, if we get a sell setup, that's a good one. We should take it. We don't have a sell setup as yet, right? Euro yen, big picture, weekly. Amazing, right? Go back, break this top. You make a flat, go back, break the top. When it was here, we said this should come and break the top. It consolidates here, it will go break the top. This is pretty easy. It will go break that top. And on the bigger picture, there's a good chance that once we break that top, once we break this top, we're coming back down like this, right? We'll be looking at this as the possible flat. Pretty easy, right? So let's see if we can get this trade, and then we would look for this trade down. Let's go. Daily, it's going up. 4 hours, it's already going up very high. We will go with this as an expanding flat in here. I think we looked at that option when we were thinking, but it was looking more downside for one more low before, but it's going up from there. So we'll take that as an expanding flat. First impulse up, expanding flat, and look for any buy setup here now. What are the chances that this would break out? It's possible. You can make an argument for that this is the one that will break out, because you can make an argument for a flat somewhere here if this is the low. This is more of a correction. I don't know whether we'll put all of this together in it, because this is sharp. You'd have to go to a flat in there, something like that. Right, so any flag or correction we get here is upside. Let's go see if we have any. Well, we just had a running flat possibility here because of this correction in the middle there. That is a possibility. Wait for a flag above here and then buy. So if we get a flag above there, we'll buy. That is something I could probably post out. Let's see if we get the flag above there first. So that's for all the Euro pairs. I think this one is about 20 minutes already. I'll probably post this out separately, and then we will do all the pound pairs, and then we'll do all the Aussie pairs, and then we'll just finish everything. Maybe just the pound pairs separately, and then I'll just do all the rest after that. So we keep it short. And thank you guys for watching this. If you're on YouTube, you're in Share Vision, and you like it, please make sure you share it to somebody. Follow me in Share Vision. Make your comments. Let me know what comments you have. Keep it clean, keep it respectful. If you don't like what I do, just leave. Don't watch it. Right? Don't waste your time. If you like what I do, stick around and share your ideas, and we'll go from there, right? Thanks a lot, guys.